Hello you lovely lot and welcome to my channel. My name's Kate and we are going to unbox and create with UpCrate. It seems like forever ago since the last UpCrate, and I do have a kinda beyond the box coming up soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But I'm actually really glad that this one is here today. Our co-captain is Camo Jeddah Art, and it's a very nice line drawing of I guess it's a map, which kind of gives some clues as to what the contents of this month's box is going to be. As you've just seen, we have a pad of dry media paper as well as an eraser. We have a Viking 2H pencil and some Sakura liners. Oh yeah, and we have a pretty nifty metallic ruler as well, which is always nice. So while I'm flicking through the bottle post, I'll tell you what the pens are. So we have a black Sakura Micron in 003, as well as the same colour in a 03. We have a dark grey in a Sakura brush, as well as a Micron 005. We also have a lighter grey in 005, alongside a light grey in 01. So back to the paper, we have a dry media paper which is 180 GSM thick, and there are 20 sheets. And apparently we also get 2 sheets of tracing paper in there, which has featured in previous Art Space books. However, I didn't seem to get mine. Never mind. And also, let's not forget what this month's battle topic is, which is Worldwide Map. Now, if you've been here for a while, first of all, thank you, I massively appreciate it, but you'll know that I don't draw many objects as such. It's just not something I perceive myself to be any good at, and not massively wanted to take an interest in getting good at either, which is probably not the right approach. And maybe that's something I'm just going to have to improve in off camera, so then I can show you guys how to do it at some point, but that is way on the horizon. So I thought, rather than drawing anything architectural as such, or a full-on map, I thought I would create a little bit of a, narrative. I thought, since as UpCrate's kind of got a bit of a piratey theme, and obviously this month's battle is maps, I thought, well, let's just do a pirate with a treasure map. Maybe more of an explorer type. I don't know, it kind of just fits the bill. So I penciled it all out off camera. And I must admit, actually, I've used Viking pencils before and they are really nice. And even though this was a much lighter one to what I'm used to, it was lovely and smooth to work with. So I was very happy with that. There's not really much else I can say about a pencil though. I did the initial black outlining in the Sakura Micron in the 03 stage. I thought I want a good, decent line there. And it was just the right thickness as well. It wasn't too thin, and obviously it wasn't too chunky, and it was just perfect for adding these details down, or at least the preliminary ones. For her hair, I used the dark grey Sakura brush pen, and that was just perfect for filling in large areas. I didn't want to give her completely black hair for 2 reasons. Number 1, it would have taken a million years. And number 2, it wouldn't have looked very tidy, and I kind of just wanted her to look quite tidy because what I have planned in the background is a little bit more on the sketching side of things. I did varied brushstrokes in varied areas. Well, I guess I kept them all in a relative same direction, but just changed it ever so slightly so it emphasised her curly hair. And then just to get those individual strands in there, I used the super fine dark grey one that we had. It was quite nice to extend some of those jaggedy lines created by the brush, and with it being the same grey, it just worked out quite nice. After I had filled in all of those areas with that super fine pen, I just added a little bit more depth in there by just introducing some of the black ink in there. Nothing over the top, it's just to add a little bit more definition, but as you can see, her hair is not completely black still. I just wanted it grey. So my initial thoughts on this box when I opened it was a bit of an eye roll one, to be honest, to begin with anyway. I just thought, it's quite an easy box to throw some fine line pens in there and call it a project, and UpCrate has done this before. It might have been a couple of years ago, and that's when we had the rotring pens, which were very nice and I still use today. But once I got to use these, I thought, well, I actually don't have any grey Sakura ones. I certainly don't have any brush or extra fine ones. So it was quite nice how it introduced me to those. I definitely appreciated the metal ruler in there. I have one from a few years ago from a scroll box, and I can't tell you how useful it is just to have something on hand like that. I like the fact it's lightweight, but it's pretty robust, so it's going to draw a straight line for a long time. And I also quite like the design across it too. The eraser is, well, it's an eraser. I guess they had to throw that in there because we're using pencil. But, you know, as far as erasers go, it's a good one. The Factice ones are usually pretty good to work with. The paper, and again, this is perhaps in hindsight, it's slightly textured, which, for me personally, I'm not a huge fan of using liner pens on, and that's mainly because it wears the nib down, and especially with the brush pens, eventually that pointed tip from the brush pen, it does eventually fuzz out, and I think that might just be down to it being agitated with the fibres on one surface of the paper. I did, however, turn it over and you have a much smoother side there, so obviously if you wanted that smoother side, you've got the option. I personally think this paper would be really nice with coloured pencils, and that might just be something I play about with and get back to you on in a future video. So even though I had a bit of a sceptical initial thought with this box, I'm actually quite happy with it. Again, there's enough variety of this particular medium to make it not feel so repetitive, I guess. And as well, to a certain extent, especially if you've been a long time subscriber like me, there's going to be slight repetitions of mediums used. I'm always happy when there's watercolours in there, but we've had watercolours quite a lot, so I think maybe I'm just being a little bit pernickety. I'm definitely not dissing this box. I do enjoy it, and I do think it's great value for money, but we do get a lot of liner pens anyway, don't we? But I am waffling, and overall I'm quite happy. I think it was still good value, and hey, I've got grey Sakuras, which I've not had before. So obviously they're line pens, which is a great opportunity to do a bit of cross-hatching, and again, having them variations of tones in there is just perfect for adding subtle details like the creases of the fabrics and different areas where shadows lie amongst her figure, as well as the different fabrics used. It was quite nice as well to have that brush pen with the same coloured fine pen, again just to extend things and have a little bit more control over what lines and marks I'm making. But you know, we're at a stage here where apart from holding something that looks like it could be a map, there isn't really much of a atlas or a map going on here, so I thought in my head whilst I was drawing this that it would be quite nice to have a bit of a montage scene with a treasure map in the background, and I guess some sort of something that replicates a compass. I've got a circular template, so yeah, it's technically cheating because it didn't come in the box, but hey, I could have drawn around a mug or a bowl or something to get that circular shape, so I'm not going to feel too bad about that, and that worked out great for placing the compass down. I used the ruler just so I could get a nice straight couple of lines so I could add the text in there for the points of the compass. And using that pencil, I just did a rough outline because handwriting and writing in general is definitely not my forte. My handwriting is awful. Are any of you creatives in the same boat as me? You know, you can create a relatively controlled work of art as such, but when it comes to handwriting or jotting down notes, it's just abysmal. Honestly, my writing is terrible. I think I can write like a paragraph and the handwriting style changes about 3 times. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, back to the work. So yeah, I used the lightest grey pen just to add the preliminary details in there as well as the text. I didn't want it to overpower the foreground. Like I say, I want it to sort of be a bit of a montage in the background there and not be too distracting from the foreground. I did take note again, referring back to the texture of the paper. To prolong the life, I don't recommend pressing down, so if you are heavy-handed like me, yeah, you're going to have to rein that back in just to preserve your nibs. I guess that's general practice anyway. I just wanted to add a little tiny bit of shadow to the letters, as well as just adding a few more additional features everywhere with the darker grey thin pen. And that was before I started plotting out what was going on in the background there. So yes, we're at sea with this one. I'm not particularly putting any known landmarks in there. I'm kind of just putting on generic fun things you'd see on a pirate's treasure map. I thought a big sea monster would be good, a few random islands, as well as a mermaid and their friend, perhaps. But, you know, if you get it, you get it. I thought a few octopus tentacles reaching out of the ocean, as well as a school of fish, a good old Skull Island, and a deserted paradise island with a treasure chest on there, of course. And I thought these pens were ideal for just adding those nice little touches and textures in there. The lightness of the ink combined with the fineness of the nib was just chef's kiss good. I think I could have put even more details on those little characters there, and I don't think anything would have been lost, but I also quite liked the simplicity of it all too. I think for a beyond the box video using these materials, if you refer back to 1 or 2 videos ago, I was talking about children's books I read, especially when it was mostly text, but you'd have a plate print in there or just a black and white drawing, and they were a huge inspiration to me. So I think I'm going to use these supplies to sort of demonstrate my own versions of these beautiful illustrations I used to see when I was a kid. I hasten to add though, I might use the other side of the paper though, just to preserve the nibs. So after I'd penciled everything in and went over it in the nibs, it was time to start laying down a trail for where the pirate ship would go to get this treasure off this island. Goodness knows what's in the box. And I thought the grey brush pen was just perfect. It wasn't going to stand out too much and just create a nice bold line just so you could see that there was a journey to take place. It was quite fun actually having it weaving around all of these landmarks on the map. I also added a few waves in here and there just so we knew we were at sea here. I'd also noticed as well that I had added no tonal details to our pirate's headscarf, so we went in there with that as well. All in all, I actually quite enjoyed this box. I did think it was good value for money. I like the fact we got a ruler in there because I do like drawing tools. I do find them really useful. I ended up using the ruler just to create a grid in the background, which I went over in the lightest, finest grey pen we'd got in the box there. And whilst doing that, taking care not to accidentally draw over some of the areas I didn't want to draw over, and that included the pirate as well as all the items on the map as well as the compass. I like the fact I made the compass stand out by just not going overboard with the details there. And it was really good actually to have a good decent eraser in there to remove all of those pencil marks and reveal the finished image beneath. I was quite impressed as well that the eraser didn't lift up any of the ink. Sometimes that can happen and it'll make all of your areas which you've drawn in black, for example, come out looking a little bit more grey, but I am pleased to announce that just didn't happen. So yes, all in all, I really enjoyed this box. I just want to say a massive thank you to you guys for being really patient and waiting for this video. I've just been quite busy. With it being my birthday a couple of weeks ago, things just kind of caught up with me a little bit. But with that being said, I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've enjoyed what I've created with this month's UpCrate supplies. Of course, as always, let me know down below what you guys thought of this. And I shall put a couple of videos on screen now that I think you're going to really enjoy, so why not click on one of those as well. In the meantime, a massive thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you lovely lot soon. Bye!